Hello, my name is Doye Agama. Welcome to this training webinar on the Global Maritime Distress Safety and Signaling System, GMDSS. I've worked in broadcasting and information technology related fields since 1976. I also worked to GMDSS specifications on the installation and repair of communication and navigation systems. In today's webinar, I'll give you an overview and insights into the working components of the Global Maritime Distress Safety and Signaling System, GMDSS. This course is made up of an introduction, 4 study modules, and the conclusion. Module 1 lays the foundation for the rest of this course, covering the background to the GMDSS. In Module 2, we look at the GMDSS equipment and services, the minimum GMDSS equipment, and current compliance with the GMDSS. In Module 3, we look at the EPIRB, or Emergency Position Indicating Radio Beacon, carried by all ships. In Module 4, we will look at training for work in the offshore oil industry and certification for the GMDSS. You can go through the modules in any order using the navigation buttons. At the end of each module is a short quiz you can use to see how much you remember from the module studied. Module 1 lays the foundation for the rest of this course, covering the background to the GMDSS. This module will introduce you to the main purpose, structure, and history of the GMDSS, including an outline of the ways in which satellite and land-based as well as shipboard radio telecommunications combine to make the GMDSS such an efficient system. The GMDSS is an internationally agreed set of equipment, procedures, and protocols that enable the faster and easier rescue of people, aircraft, ships, and other vessels that are in distress. The GMDSS works within the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS regulations of the International Maritime Organization, IMO. Most GMDSS equipment can send signals automatically in case of an emergency. GMDSS certification training is available from many organizations. Do you recognize this object? It's an old Morse code key. Maritime voice communications by radio have existed since the early 1900s, soon after radio was invented. Some of these transmissions were quite long range. Morse code was still used as the international standard for distress signaling, particularly following the sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912. Like voice, Morse code signaling cannot be easily automated and has other technical limitations. By the 1980s, advances in satellite technology made GMDSS possible, under regulations agreed by the International Maritime Organization, IMO. Ships were given until 1999 to comply, so that all required vessels would fit automatic GMDSS. The current GMDSS regulations can be found in the SOLAS manual available from the International Maritime Organization, IMO. The internationally recognized body for training standards in offshore oil is the Offshore Petroleum Industry Training Organization, OPITO, or OPITO. OPITO was originally part of the Petroleum Industry Training Board, PITB, founded in 1977. The OPITO website carries up-to-date information on their activities. Those wishing to achieve recognized qualifications for the offshore oil industry should visit the OPITO website after completing this introductory course. This course is not OPITO certified. The next diagram now shows how in the GMDSS satellite and land-based as well as shipboard telecommunications are all coordinated to enable automatic reports of distress. The calls for help go out immediately to other ships and rescue authorities, ensuring that help is dispatched as soon as possible to help those in need. You have come to the end of Module 1, covering the background to the GMDSS. In this module, we have covered the purpose, structure, and history of the GMDSS, including an outline of the ways in which satellite and land-based, as well as shipboard radio telecommunications combine to make the GMDSS such an efficient safety system. Now that you have completed Module 1, please use the questions provided in the next few slides to assess the knowledge you have gained from the course so far. If you do not wish to do the assessment or would prefer to do it later, you may proceed to Module 2, or another module, or go straight to the conclusion of the course.